Welcome to the H-Cast, brought to you by lateflix.com, with all the latest stoner flicks you could find. Last week we got into my sexuality with special guest comedian Michael Harrison. What an episode! This week we have a very special guest. He's a professional model and stock trader. Please welcome Domenico Rosso.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Hey,
What's going on?
well, just quarantining it up right now. I just went to the store, bought some shampoo, and here I'm at. I'm just relaxing, just chilling. Just probably gonna play some video games later on.
Nice. So where
Yeah,
where are you in the area?
I'm in Thornhill right now, so uh, it's like on the border of North York.
True. I'm in North
Yeah,
York. Is that a good place to
yeah.
be right now?
Yeah, just safe at home. Honestly, it's just I've been at home for 2 weeks,
Oh,
so it's really lonely. Let's just say that.
yeah, a lot of people are staying home and taking it easy and staying away from stuff, which is good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just difficult because like you're used to doing or socializing and exercising right outside and at the gym, and now it's a wake up call. Like you have to improvise.
Yeah, I just joined the
Yeah.
gym and then it got closed, so I gotta start doing push-ups and stuff. And they sent me some routines on the internet, and
Yeah. So yeah, that's good. That's good.
yeah,
Um, I'm actually doing well, it's hard to get the momentum going, right? I mean, you just started off at the gym, right?
yeah, getting a
Yeah.
routine started.
Yeah, it's for sure. So, and I was in the thick of it, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to stop the ball, so I've been just like pushing myself every day. I've been going for runs, like ab
Nice.
workouts. I stream part of my workouts around like 5:30, 6 o'clock on Twitch. Plug in my Twitch, twitch.tv/domnom, dom underscore noms.
Nice. Check
Yeah.
it out. What kind of workouts do you do?
It's hit. If you heard of it, high intensity interval training. So
Huh.
it's just like you're doing like multiple reps, and you're getting short breaks in between them, and yeah, it just challenges you. You're using your body momentum. You're using your body to do things that you never thought you could do, and all in like 40 minutes, 45 minutes usually.
Huh. Like what kind of movements are they?
Just everything when it comes to core exercises, when it comes to lunges, using your body weight, using your core um, to balance yourself out. So you're using different muscles that you've never used before. So it's interesting. You're training yourself just by using your body weight. I mean, there are some exercises with weights, but it's mainly body weight.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. People are learning a lot of how to be self-sufficient and find ways of doing things independently now that there's a lockdown, and that's
Yeah,
pretty intuitive.
exactly. Yeah, so it's like this is what I was doing prior to um the quarantine, and I was like, well, damn, like summer's coming up. I need my summer bod. I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's happening. Summer's still happening in my mind.
Yeah, you gotta have the motivation. I feel that. I see like tanning places are staying open as long as they can because they know people are still getting chiseled up for the summer. And I'm trying
Oh,
to do as
yeah.
many push-ups and stuff as I can and like get ripped secretly. Although if I tell people on the podcast, then they'll know. But
That's good. I mean, it's I try to challenge myself to do like 300 push-ups a day.
Wow.
I think that's pretty like well, you can spread it out throughout the day. I mean, you don't do 300 at once. I don't think that's possible, but yeah, I mean, just challenge yourself at this time of the, like it's really important that, you stay active, even if it's, going out for a walk, even if it's just spending some time outside, blazing it up outside, just do something. I don't know. It's important to just get out of the house, right? So,
Yeah, I find myself
yeah.
popping outside, smoking weed, coming back in after people notice I'm coughing, and then I'm like, it's weed. It's weed.
Yeah.
Weed is
Yeah,
helping.
yeah. I mean, it definitely helps this time of the year for sure. I don't think I would get through a lot of things in my life if I didn't have it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm glad this dispensaries, it's an essential service apparently. So,
yeah, people are open and dealing and flowing that green. I think they had like a lot of companies were making a lot of weed, and then
yeah,
there's a good supply. So we're lucky in that sense that there's a good amount of quality weed available, so we could stay home and chill out. It's not like some places where it's illegal.
yeah, no, it's actually pretty good. Actually, like you're seeing the companies that are legalized now, they're coming out strong, and cannabis sales actually have skyrocketed during this quarantine time. I think what when was it Premier Doug Ford and Canada in general, they said it's an essential service, and
Hmm.
like prices started going lower, and people started going to the stores more, and it's crazy. The amount of sales that is happening right now is incredible. So
Wow.
that's good for pot stocks if you're looking into buying.
Yeah, I'm involved in a few pot stocks. I got that one 48 North who is invested
Yeah.
in Friendly Stranger, and they're opening a bunch of weed shops here in Toronto and around there, I think.
Yeah, well, that's incredible because I told you about this company too, and I'm
Yeah.
really a big fan of it. It's pretty much organic weed, so they have 100 acres in Brantford, um, and I've been to the farm a few times, and it's just like you just go there and you just get a whiff of pretty much weed, and it's incredible. It's
Wow.
incredible, but it's all organic too. So it's like, and that's the thing when we're looking at the black market compared to the legalized market, you're like, well, what's really good? What are they putting in their products with the black market? And that's the thing, you don't know. So they're using pesticides, they're using fertilizers,
Hmm.
things that we're not supposed to digest. And it's good now that there's a federal government that looks oversees the cannabis production and says this is what you can put in, this is what you can't, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think it's the future. It's the future. Right now, it's only been only a year and a half. I mean, they've reached a lot of blimps in the road for sure. They screwed up majorly, but I think in the future, definitely this is gonna skyrocket. Everything's gonna be weed. I mean, or CBD, or there's gonna be drinks. There's gonna be food. It's gonna be through everything.
Yeah. It's interesting how you
Yeah,
see the market adapt, and it takes time. Like, even though a lot of people like weed, it's still, there's pockets of the community that are skeptical, and there's old laws that are have to be changed in people's minds. And like you see in LA, where they seem to be a few years ahead, and I've been there where
yeah.
they have like medical weed that's like $5 or $2 a gram, and they have good stuff. So
Nice,
hopefully we
nice.
get to there, and we started off kind of in the same way with the laws. So it seems like we're on the same page, and we might have like a good market of accessible, good priced legal weed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the cost of production right now. Obviously, there's a cost of business associated starting a business that's legalized. So you're looking at, starting off when it was legalized, it was pretty much, I think it was like as as far as $15 a gram. Now you're seeing $10 a gram. You're seeing less than $10 a gram. You're seeing closer to $5 now, which is
Hmm.
incredible. I mean, the cost of production now has gone less and less and less, which is good because they struggle the first year because of that. Um, but
Yeah,
it's good. It's good to see the variety of products out on the market, which is great.
especially with the outdoor grow, which is an experimental thing that they've done. It's kind of the first time we've had large scale outdoor weed grows legally.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big thing. Hopefully, this COVID-19 doesn't stop the grow. Personally, because I think they've been declared an essential service. I think that they're going to be able to grow this spring,
Hmm.
but there's going to be a lot more licenses now because the cost of actually making the weed now outside is substantiated. It's substantial. I mean, you're talking about saving like 80 cents a gram, and if you're producing like 20, 30, 40,000, I mean, 40,000 kilos, I mean, that adds up for sure. So,
Hmm.
which is great because you're using just the sun, right? Like when you're
Yeah,
looking at greenhouses, when you're looking at indoor grows, you got to pay for that, or you have to do a little bit of maintenance inside. Not so much greenhouses, but still.
yeah. I think I read somewhere that the outdoor grow at 48 North had something around 50 cents a gram production.
No, it was actually less than that. It was 25%, 25 cents
Wow.
the
Yeah, which is
cost.
substantially less than indoor grows, which were a few dollars or something.
Yeah, so I think what it was, to be more accurate, I think it was close to $1 for greenhouses, and it was like $1.20 for in-house indoor facilities. And wheat is a natural product. I mean, it's meant to be grown outside. The reason why it all started inside was because it was illegal to begin with, so everybody started growing
Hmm.
it inside, right? Now that
Yeah,
it's legal, I mean, let's grow it outside, man. It's
yeah, it
yeah.
should be. I've experienced growing both indoor and outdoor weed and noticed the difference of how much bigger it grows outside and how much easier it is to grow it because the sun does a lot of the work, and if it rains you don't have to water it, so it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. And the terpenes are stronger outside. And if you guys don't know what terpenes are like the smells of the actual cannabis itself. And usually
Hmm.
the ones that are grown outside are definitely have high terpenes, which is good for the product. And it's actually a more formidable, stronger smell.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think they're just now making their outdoor product from last summer available,
Right.
so that should be
And
interesting.
Yeah, so they have a vape out in the market right now, in Ontario, Vitas. Uh, I
Hmm.
believe that's from their farm, and I think they're starting to sell their organic weed right now in Alberta.
Yeah, I saw a post about that. Very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's slowly coming out, and this is the time to do it. I mean, during quarantine, people want to smoke weed. It's a thing because what else is there to do? The
Yeah.
LCBOs are open, right? Everything's open when it comes to I don't know, just recreational stuff, right? So this is a time to do it right now. So I feel like going forward, I think they're gonna have a good summer because if this keeps going, then no holds bar. I mean, sales are going to be through the roof.
Yeah, it's like a quarantine Christmas. People are just self-indulging and having their like self-care time for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so absolutely. Uh, it's definitely. I mean, like for sure. Like, I mean, if you're looking at me, I mean, I'm smoking more for sure. So it's definitely a thing that's happening, right? So,
Yeah.
um, do you find a difference between um, well, for yourself personally, because I don't smoke too much. I didn't smoke too much like black market weed. But do you find a difference?
Um. Yeah. Like I haven't smoked a lot of the legal weed. I've been smoking mostly like black market weed. But
Yeah,
from what I recall, it's like the legal weed is typically more like professionally manicured at the mid to upper level of sale compared to
right.
like street buys, and just the way that obviously the packaging is more professional when you get legal. It's all has legal notices and is ziplocked in smell-proof bags. And then from a dealer, it might be in like a Ziploc bag or something. But in terms of like the potency, I think they're they're definitely comparable because I think they're likely the same caliber of growers that would be doing it illegally and legally on the same on on the scale at which they're selling the quality. Just there
Yeah,
would be a difference in terms of price because of the cost of regulation and all that.
right, right. And that's what I was saying previously is that these costs are definitely going to be lower and lower as as uh, as business gets bigger and bigger, and the quality and the actual product itself will be cheaper and cheaper for them. So um, pretty soon, essentially, the black market will be thrown out. But I was just wondering if you still saw like a difference because actually I was speaking to a friend today, and she says she smokes a lot of weed, and she says that there's a big difference that a lot of people she knows feel sick afterwards. I have a bag of pretty much just empty containers right now. I've tried like many products. I haven't felt like sick or anything like that. So I really question, are these people having like severe munchies afterwards, or and they're getting sick because of that, or like is it all in their head?
Yeah,
That's why I was wondering.
I think for people that are inexperienced with smoking weed, they could definitely have something that feels like sickness if they have too much, especially if it's a sativa, which is like the upper, and that can make people paranoid or feel like overly hungry and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be a thing.
Yeah, so like myself personally, I mean, I've tried it all, and yeah, I haven't felt like sick. I mean, yeah, munchies happen, right? But I mean, they're controllable for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't see a difference, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's just because where are the legal growers coming from? They're all former illegal growers, so they're pretty much the same people. Like whoever didn't get hired is just still an illegal grower.
Yeah,
So they're the same people, so it doesn't make sense that there would be different products other than the like how perfect and clean they are in a sterile environment that's overseen.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a business that is booming because of what's going on right now. And it took something like this to happen. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise. I
Hmm.
mean, if you want to say it that way, um, it's a blessing in disguise for the weed industry because they got tanked. They got hit hard because a lot of people and there was a lot of skepticism. But it's good to see that it's actually credible, that there's actually people that want it and that it's in demand. So
Yeah.
just happy to see that. And right now, I don't feel like losing more money right now. So yeah, it's good. But hey, listen, I mean, an investment is an investment. I see that, like the tech bubble. I mean, a lot of companies survived after the tech bubble, and then you have like Amazon that was part of the tech bubble. Well, they started up in the mid '90s, but they made it through
Yeah.
that, and I feel like in a few years you're gonna definitely see a few weed stocks take off just like the tech bubble did.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was saying about how it's interesting how things take time when they seem to be on an inevitable trajectory that might be faster than what's actually possible. And for that kind of thing with the weed, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so trust me, right now there's tons of potential right now, and if you get on the topic of stock markets, I mean, it's just like there's so much to say right now. It's just incredible.
hmm,
So much new demand, and that's interesting. You're seeing certain markets that are taking off now that kind of were in a lull, um, and it's definitely good to see. It's definitely good to see. But I mean, you just got to mitigate your risks at this time.
hmm, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's like almost another recession, and it seems like people are behaving that way investment wise in terms of hedging bets and making investments in companies that are likely to be bailed out and other type of plays like that. Do you think that
yeah.
what do you think about bailouts for, let's say, airlines and other affected companies that are tanking?
Well, let's face it. At the end of the day, the travel line industry is tanking. Anything with airlines are tanking right now. There's no security when it comes to that industry because nobody wants to take a flight. Nobody wants to travel anywhere. But um, you're going to see a lot of bankruptcies. And
Hmm.
you know what? Bombardier, for example, uh, that's uh, that's the federal government's guinea pig, right? So they just keep giving them money. So I personally, um, it would be sad to see, but I think these airlines would have to get bailed out somehow. They're doing that in the States with the banks right now, and I think it's in the same as Canada right now, but not as crazy. But I heard like the U.S. bailed out like with $14 trillion.
Well,
I thought it was necessary at the time, and I still kind of do at the same time. But I think that was a little bit way too much money. Um, I think that the government definitely needs to pump like the banks with money. In order to avoid a recession, and that's the thing, right? So COVID-19 or coronavirus or the Rona, whatever you like to call it, happened with a healthy economy. Our economy was good.
mm-hmm.
So Corona happened. Then the market started tanking because the market got scared. Which, the economy was still healthy. I mean, still healthy right now. But now you're going to hear about job security and unemployment rates is skyrocketing. So we'll see. It's going to get a little wobbly, but that's why the governments gave such huge bailouts to the banks because if they didn't, then many people will default, which will happen. but then after the banks will start losing money, then the banks will start to lose money, and then it's a ripple effect. So what it does is that the government gives them money in order to um, make sure that the economy still keeps going, pretty much, essentially.
so that they could lend money to other people who need money.
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, there's going to be a lot of payment deferrals, the mortgage deferrals, car payment deferrals, everything right now, and that's going to hurt the banks, right? So that's why the governments gave them money in light of what's happening, right? So they keep the economy going, so the banks can still get customers to keep borrowing, so that that there's no fear in the market.
The deferral means that you don't pay it, and
Yeah, so deferral pretty much means is that you don't pay it for like whatever the period is. Some banks are different. My bank, for example, it's 2 months, but under certain circumstances, you can go up to 6 months. In light of what's going on, we don't know when this is all going to end, right? So
okay. So it means that the banks won't get payments from people for a few months or something.
yeah, essentially, but I mean, you still have to be careful that they might not default, right? So that's
Yeah,
damaged property. That's pretty much,
a
you know,
loss.
yeah, it's a loss. They have to sell the property, right? And the thing is, if the economy is tanking, then the housing prices are going to go down, and then the banks are going to lose money, right? I mean, $1 million mortgage, and the house is worth only probably like 200,000. I mean, you lost 800,000 essentially, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of big losses in some areas.
So that's why there's been so big of a bailout when it comes to the governments.
Hmm.
That's the good part. But the bad part is that they're giving them so much money, and most of these executives are taking them as bonuses. They're
Oh,
gonna still get bonuses, and at the end of the day, I mean, is that healthy? No, not at all. You're just going to create a big disparity when it comes to the income gap. There's going to be higher income people, and there's going to be no middle class anymore, right?
yeah. We used to call that skimming when people did that. It's just like,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, it's shady. I don't understand the ethics of how certain things like that work. It just seems some people feel entitled to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so it's interesting right now. But like I said, I think this is like a trader's dream right now because markets are just like they're just irrational right now. So you can make a lot of money,
Hmm.
um, and I hope to capitalize on that.
Yeah. So for our listeners, how do we make a lot of money? What should we invest in beans? Because I heard beans are going fast. The hot commodity,
Be,
canned beans.
be, canned beans, well, I guess so, right? Anything canned would be good, right?
Yeah, I invested in loose beans, so I'm shit out of luck, I guess. Gonna might try to plant them.
Magic beans?
Big bag of loose beans here. Stocked up for the apocalypse.
Yeah, some magic beans?
No, they're navy beans.
No?
I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Agriculture is gonna definitely be a big industry for sure. Um, I think there's gonna say packaged goods and processed goods are definitely gonna they're increasing right now because everybody wants packaged goods right now. That's what's going off in the supermarkets.
Hmm.
Like you look at the canned food aisle, you look at for tuna, and there's no tuna. Why? Because it's easy, it's healthy, and it's in a can. It's processed. I mean, there's no contamination.
Yeah, the safety aspect is really coming in clutch for a lot of products, which we're seeing a shift in. So suddenly, companies that are making like gloves and things are becoming rich and selling all their gloves.
Hmm.
So that's lucky
Exactly.
for them. Like some companies were probably about to become bankrupt and they said, ah, that's it. We can't sell enough of these goddamn face masks. People don't care. And then suddenly this happens and they're overjoyed. Oh, we're all in business again. And they're expanding. So it's good for some people.
There's an opportunity in every market, which is incredible. Smart traders, smart investors, smart entrepreneurs make money at any type of climate right now, which is great. You're not going to make money just selling Lysol cans for $30 a can. No, you're going to be resourceful. There's going to be new markets out there. There's going to be new demand out there. Um, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, you have to start to tap into these things and be thinking out of the box. um, that's what makes someone successful.
Yeah, it's true. And just having the kind of adaptive thinking to know what to do in different kinds of environments and different situations and not just
Yeah.
rely on things being so consistent to be able to thrive.
Hmm. And that's the thing, right? So um, it's important that if you're going to invest, do some research and do your due diligence. I mean, for myself, like I talk about, that company 48 North a lot because I actually went and visited their farm. I actually went and spoke to a bunch of people. I want to know where my money's going right now. So I saw an opportunity. Definitely should have bought lower, but at the end of the day, nobody expected this to happen, right? So um,
Yeah,
I'm in for the long haul, and the thing is, and that's what you have to do is you have to think of the investment in the long term, right?
yeah, that's true. Just like with Apple, I noticed when they were starting out, there was a big, long, flat curve where their stock was very small, and then it shot up when they invented all these iPhones and things, and now they're huge.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, take a look at Amazon, for example. I mean, Amazon was just selling books online, or I believe I can't remember what they were doing.
Yeah,
Um, and look where they're at now. They sell everything, and
yeah.
they're
Imagine
selling
getting that.
groceries now.
So imagine having that stock. That could be the new weed stocks.
Well, of course. I mean, wheat stocks are going to be the next Amazon, uh, Netflix, or whatever.
Hmm.
It's just about patience and it's about investing in the right companies, right? So you got to look at. There's a lot of things when you look at a company. You look at the margins. Um, you look at how much cash they have on hand, what do their debts look like, what are their revenue stream, what kind of products are they bringing in, looking at their executive board, um, like their shares, everything. I think that's important. And once you start digging into a company, and then you start to realize, they have a good corporate structure, and they're set for the long run.
Yeah, it really is all about the team and how the people at the helm are able to run the ship, basically, and what their experience entails.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. Um, myself, I'm just sitting on my hands. I'm not making moves. I mean, now's the time to buy. I personally say now's the time to buy. Um, they might say that there might be another dip and then it might skyrocket, but personally, I think the bottom's already in. I don't think we had a panic mode. So the past 2 weeks, the past yeah 2 weeks we were in panic mode,
Yeah,
and like now that the panic is slowly dissipating, people are starting to realize, well, um, you know, yes, we're getting lots of cases every day, but at the same time, it's not as bad as what we imagine it to be.
Yeah, we have a more of an understanding of what we're dealing with and how to deal with it. So there's not so much of a panicked fear running around buying anything that might be useful.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so we're in an interesting market. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, that's been a great discussion about stocks and investments. And I'd like to thank you again for coming on the show. And if you like to plug the your account for the Twitch, and people
Yeah,
can
yeah.
watch you on there.
So definitely. I'm actually streaming this a little bit live right now too. So
Cool.
it's twitch.tv slash domnoms. So it's dom underscore noms NOMS. And yeah, just catch me. Just I'm doing live workouts usually around 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and usually I play video games around this time too. So just check it out. Good conversations, good everything. Um, and that's about it. I look forward to speaking with you again. Hopefully, maybe you can join my Twitch cast too.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
that's
that'll be fun.
5:30 Eastern Standard Time
Yeah, exactly.
from here in Canada. All right, thanks again, and here we are mowing out from the H cast.
That's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, you too. Take care.